flow might gonna show you right.
All right, there it is. I think I just pushed record. All right, Nikki, you doing okay? I mean, Don
Yeah.
said you're back. You're back now. You're back. You're at it. You're looking good.
I had a major surgery, so that took me out for a bit. And then
All
my
right.
youngest daughter got married, and that took a bit to recover from. But yeah, I'm
Wow.
doing good.
Okay.
Doing good.
All right.
Kind of getting back in the game.
All right. So I took a vacation day, but I wanted to do this, right? So I took a vacation day. I'm in a Marriott in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we're going to the LSU A&M game tomorrow. So here we go.
Nice.
Right. So I'm on vacation, so I'm dressed down. I'm here doing this. David, what's going on in your world? Yeah, Steven, it is a big game. That's a big game. Both ranked teams. They always play tight. It's at night, so Death Valley is going to be rocking. Not the Death Valley you're aware of, Jeff, out there at Clemson. This is the Death Valley here in Louisiana. There you go. So, David Stone, what's going on? What's going on in your world? Tell me about you.
So I started a bookkeeping company about just over a year. And I did see you at one of the conferences down in Provo, Universal Accounting.
Oh, very cool.
And so I saw you there, talked a little bit, and I've been talking to a few of my clients, and I've been telling them that cash flow is the most important thing in their business, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do to help them understand cash flow and get a good metric for them. So coming back around to refresh and see what to do.
Got it. Chastity, what about you? What's going on? Have we met? She goes, I'm getting off this camera. Oh, here she is.
Can you see me? Can you hear
I
me?
can see you. I can hear you.
Oh,
Everything.
okay.
See you, hear you, everything. Good.
I'm just, busy working, and I just really enjoy everything that you do. So I always like to tune in.
All right.
what's
Well, I
new.
appreciate it. All right. So we got Susie and Nancy and Kimberly. We got Amy and Andrew Seeker's here. All right. What's going on? Andrew, say what's up. Andrew's getting his stuff off the ground.
Yeah, I just I'm in the process of onboarding my first CFO client. So that was kind of from a networking event. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of busy just trying to focus on that and looking at his statements and everything and getting the ball rolling on that. So
Good. All right. So it sounds like a lot of you are already kind of familiar with me and kind of what I do. My name is Mike Milan. I call myself Cashflow Mike, mainly because some bankers nicknamed me that back in the day, and it kind of stuck. And all these bankers kept calling me that. And I'm going, well, I can't come up with a better name than that. I mean, think about it, the last big product I named was called Cashflow Tool. That's how original I am. It's just like, what do you think people are looking for? I bet they're looking for a cash flow tool. Why don't we just call it that? So that's how it ended up. Today's going to be kind of interesting, right? Because Jeff wanted to record it because we're at the stage where I'm almost ready to release version 2 of the ClearPath to Cash app. So over the past year and a half, I think it's been a year. Nikki, how long since I released the first one? Year and a half, maybe? Because it hasn't been 2 years, has it?
No, it hasn't been 2 years. It's probably about 18 months.
All right, so about 18 months ago, I'm kind of you ever seen the show The Reluctant Traveler? So that's kind of how my life has kind of played out in being a consultant, a coach, a trainer. But it's something that I really love to do, right? I mean, I teach at universities. I've done a lot of speaking and educating across. And so after COVID, well, right before COVID, I got really lucky and exited a software company, took some time off, wrote a book. And I had some people come back to me and says, hey, you're not doing much now, Mike. Why don't you help us? Why don't you try to do some consulting? Why don't you try to do some training? And so I wrote a book called Don't Be a Dumb Business Owner. And what that is dumb doesn't mean unintelligent. It means I don't understand my business. And that's really the basis of the Clear Path to Cash. So if you hear this term, my program that I call the Clear Path to Cash, it's 8 mathematical techniques to maximizing cash in a business. A lot of people go, oh, I just need forecasting. If I had forecasting, that's all I need for cash flow. Well, forecasting is only going to tell you if something's coming, right? It's like looking both ways before you cross the street. If you do that because you can see the bus that's coming, and the farther away you can see the bus, that's forecasting, the more options you have to cross the street. That's what we have in our business. So the farther away we can identify something, the more options we have to avoid it. What it doesn't tell you is how to avoid it. It doesn't tell you how to make the bus turn or stop. And that's basically what my techniques do, is help you avoid the bus altogether, so you don't have to worry about how close it's gotten to you, because you're avoiding it from the get-go. Now, originally, I built a software company, right? So back in 2012 to about 2020, it was just all software, all for bankers, all for business owners, a little bit for accountants, but mainly for bankers and business owners. And I noticed that financial analysis was a lot deeper and a lot wider than we all think. I mean, Nikki, would you agree with that? Like, it's
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, there isn't just a path for every company. It isn't just you go buy a program that says you do this step 1, you do this step 2, you do this step 3. Because as soon as I was doing step 1 and step 2, my client had a problem that was step 2A or step 7 that wasn't even on my program. So I started looking at, what is really the best way to address a business owner and their concerns. And it came back to one thing, and it took me 3 years to be able to make this sentence. This is a weird thing, right? How your life evolves. But it took me 3 years to be able to say this: I need to solve the problem that my client feels, not the problem I see. Now, why do you think I say that? David, what's your guess? You got to solve the problem the client feels, not the problem you see.
Sorry, getting off mute. Yeah.
Nope, sorry.
Everything's about perception, and that's what, it's the feeling. The feeling is something that hangs with you, is the problem, and it's the unknown. And it's also what people remember you as. They don't remember any of the conversation they have when they talk to us. They just have the feeling, I'm going to get better, or things are going to fall apart. So we're trying to identify that feeling, speak it back to them, what it is, so that we know that what their problems are, and change that feeling for them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's almost right on, right? It's almost right on. So here's what I'm thinking nowadays. Have you ever been in a meeting where the person you're meeting with already comes prepared with a big report, a big PowerPoint deck, and then you sit there and watch them go through slide by slide or page by page? Anybody ever done that?
Yeah.
I mean, how'd that feel to you?
Boring.
Boring, right? So that right there is what made me write the book, Don't Tell Me What to Do. And tell was terminate every long lecture, TELL. Right? You can see a theme to my books now, right? I'm almost like I'm not quite John Grisham or anything like that, but but there's a theme to the books. But yeah, terminate every long lecture, because I hated that. I hated sitting there for an hour just I felt I was being lectured to the whole time, told how bad this was or how bad this was or what I needed to do. And it was like I was being judged for an hour, and I didn't feel good coming out of any of those meetings. Matter of fact, the first consultants I ever hired basically just took what I told them and regurgitated it back in a 2-inch binder. That's really what they did. And I didn't like it. So I'm like, we're not going to do that anymore. We're just not going to do that, at least from my point of view. So that was the first thing. I didn't want to present to people anymore. I wanted to work side by side, because that was the feeling I got, like, oh my God, we're sitting down at the table, we're working. I'm giving him numbers, he's giving me feedback. And the more we did together, the better it was. Sorry, we've got this do not disturb was not turned on. I usually always turn it on. Didn't. I had to bing, bing, bing. You know how that is. But so what I've tried to do is develop a program that gets you to work directly with your client, right? Where they feel engaged, because I feel like if ever a meeting's productive, they stay with you longer because they know every time they walk into your office or they get on a Zoom call with you, they get something out of it. So that was the first thing. The other thing was I hated to be bored, right? I hated to be bored, while I was in that meeting. So I wanted to be able to talk about the things I wanted to talk about. Everybody that comes to a meeting with you has something on their mind. There's something else going on in their world, right? So that's why if you notice, even here, I start off with a technique I call clear the noise. Nikki, what did I say to clear the noise?
Well, I haven't been around for a while, so what's going on with me?
Yeah, what's
David,
going on
what's
in your
going
world,
on with
right?
you? Yeah.
It seems like it's casual conversation, but what I teach is part of it. It isn't just math. It's a conversational strategy where every single question leads to one of two things. I'm looking for a burning issue that we can talk about right now. The burning issue is that thing that sits on their brain, and while you're talking, they're not listening to what you're saying. They're thinking about what they want to talk about, right? So if I have on my strategy plan that I want to talk about valuation or forecasting, and they don't know if they can make payroll next week, my talk is going to be ignored. They're not going to listen to me because they're struggling with something and they're waiting for their chance to put it in, right, into the conversation. Well, if you never give them an opening, it never gets there, and they're going to quit your advisor services because you don't talk about the things they want to talk about. So the first thing I do is clear the noise. If I can't find a burning issue, it seems like a very casual next step, but I call it the explorer. And the explorer says, hey, when you said that, you were out of the office for a while, what do you mean? Tell me more about that. What happened? It seems like I'm just interested in what you're doing, which I am, but it also gives that person the opportunity to expand. Because the whole point of being a great advisor, not a good advisor, a great advisor, is to get the person that you're working with to acknowledge the problem, to say it out loud. Because if they say it out loud, it's absolutely true. You can't argue with them. They can't argue with you because they said it. But if I tell them their problem right up front, they can argue. Says, no, that's not my problem. I don't have a forecasting problem. I don't have a cash flow problem. I don't have an AR problem. I have a payroll problem. So what you're going to see is a tool that I put together today to help you have that conversation and find the right problem. That make sense? So I don't teach scripts. I might give you examples of questions, but I give you a methodology. Clear the noise, the explorer. If you don't find anything, explorer. You do the crowbar. If you don't find it in the crowbar, you go to the mirror moment. Now, to some of you, those might be new terms. Like, I have no idea what it is. Don't worry about it. In the membership, I don't sell software anymore. I sell memberships. In the membership, you get the courses, you get coaching, like access to meetings like this several times a week, plus the tools, right? Because when I sold software pre-COVID, again, financial analysis was deep and wide. People would get lost in it and they'd get frustrated and they'd quit. So I was a software company then with education, a little bit of education on the side. Today, I'm an education company with software on the side. Does that make sense? So I know you're looking for software, but it's more than that because I'm giving you help when you need it. Like, Nikki, I mean, you've used it a couple of times. You say you come to a meeting when you know you got a client in a day or two. Here's what I'm looking at. What do we do next? That's what the group coaching is about, is giving you the coaching that you need so you can perform well in front of your client the next day or the next month or whenever it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I thought I built was a math class. What I ended up with was an advisory class. So that's where I'm at today. So today I'm going to show you the version of the app that is not public, that is not available yet. But everybody that's a member is going to get it at the old price. Everybody that buys it after I release it to the public gets it at the new price, right? It's a grandfathered thing, which means if you got in like Nikki did a couple of years ago, her price will never go up. And that's the way I do it. When I release a new product, everybody that's helped me build it, you have locked in for the rest of your life. Make sense? All right. If you wait, you buy it at market rates, right? That's kind of how that works. Okay. So let me introduce you to the ClearPath to Cash version 2. So you're like, oh, that's unimpressive, Mike. That's not really that great. Well, it's in beta version. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give everybody access that's on this call today to the beta version right now for free. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to do anything. I'm going to throw it in chat. So everybody that's here, is that everyone? Did you guys get that in chat?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, all right? So this will give you access to this app so you can kind of just play with it. It doesn't give you access to the courses and the coaching and all that type of stuff, but at least you can play with this because when I release it to the public, I want it to be as solid as possible. And so if you run into things, that's the reason why it says beta right here. But if you run into things, go down to the bottom right corner, click on that and just tell me about it, right? So I can get it fixed where it's ready for everybody else. But at least gives you kind of an indication of what we're doing. I'll caution you against the data because I don't have a good plan yet to save it for when I take it off the test platform to the production platform. I gotta see if I can migrate data from the new to the old to the old, the new to the new, right? There's like 3 different ways data has to reside in one spot. So I'm gonna figure out how to do that. Haven't figured that out yet. So here's the advisor hub. This is just the dashboard. Every app that's out there has a dashboard, and here's yours, right? So up top are the quick actions. These are just things if you want to go do something, here it is, right? Maybe you don't understand how I give the grades. Like here's an F, or here's an A, or this is a C, right? First of all, I can just hover over it. It's going to tell me all these things. So hidden throughout the entire app is a lot of extra knowledge for you on what's happening and what you're seeing. So I've tried to, everywhere that I think people would get confused, I've tried to give them a little hover help is what I call it. But what I've done with grading in the financial health system is I've really leveraged the thought that the industry average is like getting a C in business, right? So it's like getting a C. So the farther you are from the industry average, the better you are, right? And why this is important because it helps you set goals for your clients. First thing I've got to do is turn all your D's and F's into C's. Then we got to get you to B. Then we got to get you to A. And it generates a way for you to keep long-term clients together because they can see and grow. And you know, everybody has a metric to be able to attain. So that's what this is. I give you a lot of information about how I grade. There are 4 big categories. I call them health pillars. And some people will say, where's liquidity? Where's leverage? Where's solvency? Well, it's right here. Liquidity, access to cash, debt load. I've noticed that most regular people, not financial professionals like everybody's on this call, but regular people don't use liquidity. They don't use solvency, but they can understand this a little bit better. So all I've done is taken our regular language and turn it into something that everybody can understand. And I've put weights, and this is going to be important for you guys to know that when you see grades, you're like, oh, he probably has too much weight on cash, or he has too much weight on resource use or staying power. It's okay. This is just where I've started, and I like the way the grades are coming out. I'm like, okay, that gives us something to work with. So, but again, if you've got a different idea, let me know. So that's how we grade. Standalone tools, if you know what you want to use, you can just click that and it goes right to the tool library. If I want to add a new client, I can do it from here. And then the quick assessment is what you're going to use as a sales tool. So as a sales tool, what I mean is most advisors out there will just say, hey, here's my package. You know, they'll say, I need a bookkeeper. I need, you know, I'm short on money. I don't know how to do it. Well, what I do is I give you a quick assessment tool that sets you up for selling advisory services first. And then you say, oh, by the way, I can clean up your books. I can do your bookkeeping. I can do those things as part of this package and just wrap it all in there. But the value is in helping them in their business. So this quick assessment tool, if I click on that, is something you can use with your client, right? All clients, it doesn't, you know, you don't have to create a big file for every client. It's just something quick you can do right in front of them. You know, you start with their name, you say to the test company, NAICS codes are all built in there. And you say, I don't know, oh, you got to spell something right. Or you say building, finishing contractors. And then I just type in some numbers, right? So I can type in some numbers, and it only takes 10 numbers, but in 10 numbers, I'm going to show them where all the cash is hidden in their business. Plus, I'm going to tell them what their business is worth. And if we fix it together, how much it could be worth. So to get there, I'm just going to load this, right? Load the sample data. But the other thing you can do is use this guided conversation. And I'm going to go through guided advisory, which is teaching you how to have that conversation. So it's just a step-by-step conversation coach. If you need the help, it's like a little crutch. But I just loaded up some sample data that's in here, and we're comparing it to building finished contractors. Right. So then I press analyze my business off the 10 numbers that I ask them, and it gives me the hidden cash chart. Now you're like, well, what's a hidden cash chart, Mike? Well, hidden cash is all about finding where money is leaking out of the business. And in this case, we found about $900,000 that's leaking out of this business based on, the industry averages. So if that's the case, it tells me where. The first three calculations are all about profitability. It's about cash generating activities, starting with sales, ending with profit, right? I sell, then I have gross profit, then I spend the gross profit and whatever's left. So those are the three cash generating activities in the business. The other are three cash conversion activities. This is how long it takes for money to come in. These have to work together. Most advisors look at all ratios in silos individually, like we fix this, we fix that. I point you to the exact one because they all work together. All 6 of these work together every single day in a business. So when I'm talking to somebody, if I'm at 0 and I'm comparing you to the industry average, that means at 0, that's exactly average, which means I wouldn't be better than average. I wouldn't be worse than average. I would be exactly average if it was a 0. When it's green and above the line, that means you're doing better than average. When it's red and below the line, you're doing worse than average, right? That's how this chart works. But it gives me a way to talk to people about, hey, listen, for the amount of assets that you have, you're killing it on sales. Just keep doing that. Matter of fact, in the future, we need to talk about what we might need to buy, a new truck, new location, new something to be able to continue to grow. But for right now, sales are great. So let's just turn it off. So I can come over here to the legend, click on it, and it recalculates the entire chart and shows me where problems are, right? The whole thing is about getting them to see where the problem is so they're committed to fixing this. They're not just being compliant to what you say, they're actually committed to fixing it. So in this case, we're still at $900,000. AP is right about the industry average. So, hey, keep doing that. The way you're paying bills is perfect because it gives us room. If we run into a cash flow crunch, we can sit down and invoice an extra week and it doesn't hurt our relationships with our vendors as long as we're not paying late fees. So let's turn off AP because we're doing pretty good there. We're also doing pretty good in gross profit. This means I don't have to look at cost of goods sold. I don't have to look at the way they price because they're actually doing better than the industry average right now because they're doing that. I know they don't have a pricing problem, so I can turn that off. Then I can say, hey, listen, the amount of inventory you have is actually pretty good too. You've got a little bit less than most people. The thing I would caution you on is, hey, let's not be running out of things. If you have customers who are always buying something and you're running out of a specific product, this is going to tell us to go look and see if we need to stock more of a specific product, not everything, just a few little things, to be able to bring that up. And we've got a little bit of room to do that. So I can turn that off. Now, the whole thing is to get them to see, we'll say 2 big blocks. Remember, this is the quick assessment tool when I use this for sales. So imagine being on a sales call with me where maybe you're showing them packages or the advisor down the street is showing them their packages. And in the first 10 minutes, I'm showing them that I found $900,000 in their clients or in their company, and it's in 2 spots. And when we work together, we're going to work on reducing operating expenses because you're spending more than everybody else and you're not collecting fast enough. Those are 2 problems that we can work on today. What I do to close is I'm like going, hey, I just found $900,000 in your business. Would you like my help to go get it? Think about that as a sales pitch versus what maybe you've learned in the past. I found $900,000. They're going to say, well, how much is yours? Hey, it's $2,500 a month. And what we do is we come up with a strategy. I mean, you're going to have to do the work, but we come up with a strategy on putting that AR money back in your pocket and reducing the right expenses at the right time. And that's what we do each month. Each month we get together, we work on the strategies together. So now with this, we've got something that we can talk to them about, and we gave them value. So even when they go shop your price somewhere else, no one's going to give them value about how much money is hidden and where it's hidden at. The other thing is, I pointed out, hey, it's in accounts receivable, it's in operating expense, but then I give them the value of their company. Hey, based on what you're doing right now with $2.5 million in EBITDA, remember this is sample data, you're worth about 18 million. When you and I work together and do the things I just showed you, it's going to increase your EBITDA, which is the cash that your company actually generates. And we're going to add $1.7 million to your company's value. So think about that. Not only am I going to put $1 million back into their pocket, I'm also increasing the value of the business by $1.7 million. And they learn that in the first 15, 20 minutes of talking to them. So questions on that? This is just a quick impact calculator about how you can generate new clients using this type of tool. And everybody can use it, right? Because all you got to do is read it. Questions, comments, feedback?
I really like
go-
the where you can increase the valuation and having it right there. That's nice. That's a pretty slick piece of this.
Turn off my camera. Yeah. I think it's really important to be able to say, hey, it's something that you can give people within minutes, right?
Yeah.
And they walk out of there like going, especially if they go to another advisor to shop you and that other advisor is worth $1,500, you're gonna say, yeah, they're worth $1,500 because they don't know how to actually create value in your company.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
I
why
mean,
I'm
you're not
2,500.
not only are you showing them where they're losing money, but then you're also showing them how you'll help them increase the value, and it looks great.
Yeah, right on. Cool. All right, so every company, I'm just going to go to demo data because it's already in here. All right, so every company comes with a demo company that you can play with. The only thing is on your side of the demo, you can make all the changes and play with things. It just doesn't save, right? That's the only thing on the demo company, but it allows you to play with every feature. It's full featured. It just doesn't save it on your side. Okay, so when I clicked into the company, right? This is the demo company, but if I clicked into a regular company, every company is set up with this, I call it the workspace, the client workspace. And there's 5 major tabs. There's a dashboard, which is kind of an overview of what's the grade, what are the grades per the 4 pillars, right? What are your smart next steps? This was one of the things where I really thought about where people get confused. I don't know what to do next. So what I do is I go through all of the data, all the things you have done or haven't done, and tell you what's the next logical step for this company, right? And all you gotta do is say, okay, start, and then you start the next step. So if they have, and it's based on the burning issue, the answer to some questions, and the data that you enter. It's going to say, oh, with this client, do this next. So this is going to change every time you come to a client, if you change some of the data. That's just kind of some overview of what they've got going and recent action items, right? So this is how you keep them connected and on track, because this will connect them to the action they take to the dollars it generates. And that's how I keep people motivated. You remember when we counted the warehouse, we put $125,000 back in your pocket? That's how I keep them connected. And I got visual proof of it and a living history of all the things that we've done. And then just a trends chart of the big 4 pillars, right? So that's kind of the dashboard. On the data hub, this is how data gets in. Now, for years, for decades, integrations have been the big thing, which is, are you connected to QuickBooks? Are you connected to Xero? Well, if you do one connection, you pretty much got to do 15 connections, because if I just do QuickBooks, then all the Xero people or FreshBooks people or Sage Intacct people or Acumatica people can't use it. So I went a different route because there's a new technology available to us today that wasn't available in the future, in the past, which is AI, which AI has given me the ability to add financial periods with just a copy and paste, right? So what I built was a AI parser which is you can take anything from anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's QuickBooks or Acumatica or Sage or Microsoft Dynamics. If you can copy it, I don't care if it's off of a PDF or spreadsheet or whatever, and you just paste it right here and press analyze, and it's going to put it in the right spots. Anything that it doesn't need, it ignores. Everything that it needs, it finds the right field and puts it in there for you, and it allows you to go, that's right or that's not right. Right. So it gives you the ability to check it before you make any permanent things. Also, you can upload files. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just before you get too far ahead, I wanted David had asked for valuation. There are many ways to do it. Are you using EBITDA, the multiples? Is there an industry average you use?
Yeah, super good question, right? So there's 12 ways to value a company. I predominantly use 2 ways. In the app, I'm using 1 way, which is more of a market value, and it's a multiple of EBITDA, and it's called the earnings approach, right? So the earnings approach starts with EBITDA, then you subtract out what the average capital investment is, because every company has to make an investment every year to maintain or buy equipment or those type of things. So whatever that average capital expenditure is gets subtracted from EBITDA, but then you add back in all the owner incentives or owner benefits, which is like maybe they got a country club membership or long-term health insurance or things that the owner gets that the new owner wouldn't necessarily get, right? It's just personal stuff that he runs through the business. Then I have a database that I get from the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. And it is a study they produce every year on major industries and what the multiple of EBITDA is on what companies traded for that year. Or whatever, they get just data, people submit data, but they'll say, oh, manufacturing companies of an EBITDA size. So it's a big thing. It's like going less than $1 million to 5 million, 5 to 10. It's a big table that I get from them that tells me what multiple to use. So there is an industry average, but it's based on EBITDA size and one of the, I think it's about 20 different major industry categories. So when you put in your NAICS code, that's going to draw, the NAICS code is North American Industry Classification System. When you put that in, I have RMA data built in here that you can compare to, right? So you can compare to that. And I read the NAICS code and automatically assign you to one of the major industry categories for the valuation. So when you put in the NAICS code, it does both things, but it's pulling from 2 different databases. That makes sense, Debbie, or is that helpful? All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Or David,
Sorry,
it was Debbie.
just
Yeah,
got
David,
off
sorry.
that was great.
All right, yeah, I thought he said Debbie, but it was David. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, so you can paste data in, which is the easiest by far, right? You can upload, it doesn't matter, CSVs, PDFs. I've even trying to teach this thing to read images. If you just got a picture, be able to read the picture and be able to put that in there. Or you can just do manual entry, which is what the current version has. The current version has more manual entry, than anything, but I'm giving more options right now. So paste, upload, or manual entry to get data in there. Now, when you upload data, it's going to read it and parse it into 3 different buckets. One is the financial periods, right? It recognizes if it's a year, if it's a month, if it's a quarter, whatever that is. And you can always go edit them, edit all the data. And so, yeah, it's just the income statement. The only thing I get is nothing sensitive, right? I'm not dealing with anything sensitive, but these numbers come right for everything I need for the valuation and for the analysis. And everything has, these type of little hover helps so you can understand what I'm actually asking for there and put those in. So you can edit anything, I guess, is the point there. But when it looks at the income statement, it's going to look for any operating expenses from that income statement. And the reason why that's important is that I've built in a cost analysis program. I used to teach it. If you go back to the video vault and the membership, Nikki, did you ever see me do that in like the Wednesday meeting or something like that, where I teach you how to do the cost analysis the way I do? Well, I built that technique into the app where now I'm grabbing all the operating expenses, and the cost analysis tool will compare periods for you and kind of give you where the best opportunities are to look for cuts. So it will automatically identify operating expenses. And then I also have a debt reduction planner in here. It's an AI optimization based on one of three things. One is the avalanche method, one is the snowball method, and one is your custom plan, what you want to do. So, but there is a way to build a debt reduction plan in here that you can add to any forecast or just run independently. So what I'm trying to do is a holistic way of looking at somebody's financial statements and using the data to get the most out of it for every client, right? Without having to get more spreadsheets and more tools. This is going to be what I think is the ultimate financial advisor, planning platform. So it will take from the balance sheet, it takes the balance and what you call it on the balance sheet, but you need to upload some other information in there, right? You've got to upload the interest rate and maybe who the lender is and that type of thing so you can talk about it. You can also just upload, copy and paste a debt schedule. So if you have a debt schedule, just paste it in there and it creates the full debt schedule and debt planner for you. So that was another thing I did. It works on the same AI parser that I made for the financial statements, but you can take a debt schedule and put it in there as well. Do it that way. All right. Questions on that? So when you import data, it's going to take your financial statements and carve it out into three groups. Not only just your financial statements for analysis, your operating expenses for the cost reduction planner or cost optimization tool, and your debt, short-term and long-term debt for your debt reduction plan. Question? All right. Yeah, Jeff, if I miss chat, let me know.
Nope, we're all good. Everything's caught up.
All right. Oh, I was on the debt optimizer. Why didn't I just show you the plan? That was weird. I should have done that. Oh, back there. Yeah, so this is the debt optimizer, right? It's going to show you what you have out there. Then it's going to say, hey, do you want to make extra payments or not? Here's the baseline. If you do nothing, it's going to take you 8 years to pay it off, and we're going to pay $69,000 in interest. If you do snowball, we can do it in 4 years. If you do the avalanche, we can shave a month and maybe $500-600 off of that, or I can create my own plan and then save the plan, right? When I do that, I can save the plan and then add that to my forecast. And it gives you some nice visuals of how they're different, how the different plans are done and different. So, and if you have saved plans, what we'll ask you in the forecast is, do you want to use one of your saved plans in the forecast? So it automatically puts it in there for you. That's kind of cool. Up top is a breadcrumb trail that I left, which kind of, tells you where you came from, basically. Hopefully that works. That's why you don't do live demos. It's taking too long.
It's your connection, Mike. You've lagged just a little bit. You're probably on a
I'm on the hotel lobby.
Yeah, you're on the hotel. That's all it is. You've lagged a little bit, but it catches up pretty quick.
Okay, that makes more sense. I'm like going, yeah, because it's been working fine. So anyway, so you got the dashboard, the data hub. The guided advisory is about walking you through the conversation. Like, who are you talking to? Is it a new coaching conversation, meaning they're a brand new client, or is it an ongoing client? And the whole purpose is to find that burning issue. And there are 6 burning issues. And what I did was I built playbooks for you. So if you're like, oh, this is a profitability issue. If I click on that, it's going to start some action items. Here's what I want to do first, so I can create actions for my clients, like little homework assignments, or I can go to some of the tools and start working on a profitability issue. So I've already built in some of the playbooks of what to do, right? So these action items are different. The tools are different, right? That you can go to. Like if I got a future problem, here, the action items are different. The tools are different. The pattern's the same. The whole point of the conversation is to be able to identify the burning issue. And if you can do that, you can figure out what to do next. And that's how I run every single client conversation, is that I want to be able to find the burning issue every single month, because that gives us a reason to talk and a reason to work together and then follow up on it. And so this action log actually puts actions in the action tab, right? And I'll go back to the guided conversation so you can kind of see how that works. But in the action tab, I've got it set up a couple of different ways. Some people like a board that they can go, oh, I'm just going to drag and drop when things are done. Or they like a table. Maybe some people like it as a table, but I like the results, right? The results to me is it breaks down everything. So when you track somebody's actions and the financial impact that it was going to have, if we go raise prices by 2%, it should put, $400,000 into our pocket. You can actually track that action and when it happened or you don't have to do it. This already does it for you. It will compare your subsequent financial statements and see the impact of those actions and connect it, right? And then give you an AI-powered feedback loop. Oh, when we did these things, this is what really worked, right? So it's almost writing the story for you on what happened with that client. All right. That makes sense, or is that kind of cloudy? So everywhere you go in here, you can create an action for your client, right? And if I want to, work on it or edit it, I can do that as well. Let's see here. I want to show you what that kind of looks like. The action item looks like this. I give it an action, why it matters, because I think people will do things if they understand why. Who'd you assign it to? When's it due? What issue is it that you're working on? What's the status of it right now? What's the numerical value? That's what keeps them there. Where did it come from? Where did I create this action? So if you have to go back there and look at it. So a lot of different information for you that kind of keeps your clients going. And you can, of course, sort these by due dates and other things like that throughout the whole thing. All right, back to this guided advisory. This is from my book, Don't Tell Me What to Do. Right. And if I click on that, it's just going to walk me down through, hey, when we have an ongoing client, they start with clear the noise. And this is just for you. Like, these are questions that are just examples. You don't have to say them word for word, but I feel like if you see it more often, then you're more likely to be able to identify the burning issue. And if you already know what it is, you can just click here and identify it, and it takes you back to the playbook. But if I click here and I say, hey, I asked that question, I'm also starting to put in quick capture trigger keywords, which is as you're listening to them, you can just say, oh, he talked about debt. Oh, he talked about the staff, right? And I can log that response, and it logs it down here, which kind of keeps a running total of the conversation. And I can either ask another question or I can move to the next technique. If I don't understand or I'm not ready to declare the burning issue, I can just go to the next technique and I can say, oh, well, tell me more about what you just said, right? Or can you say that differently? These are the type of questions I teach in course. So when you're listening to them, you say, oh, they did mention profitability, but man, they're really heavy on debt right now. So now I can, log the response, continue, or I can analyze it with AI if I still don't know what it is. Does anybody know what the burning issue is that I'm pointing towards? What would be your guess? Anybody?
Cash flow.
I think it's, oh, I didn't hear you. I talked over you.
No, it's okay. What'd you say?
I think it's going to be debt. What do you think it's going to be?
I was thinking cash flow, but that's because of the debt.
All right. So we'll look at it and we'll let AI kind of make a determination for us. But there's 6 buckets. Most business problems, yeah, see, look at that debt. I wonder if you built the product. Right, so, yeah, but when you're just typing in words or clicking on words that kind of you hear or you think they're talking about, AI is going to help you identify the exact problem that they're having. And then you say, oh, it's on debt, so I can move to the playbook. And again, there I got some starter actions to do, and I've got tools to go work on, right? And it could be that free up cash to accelerate debt pay down. So look at that, even Nikki's right. All right, so that's how the guided conversation works, right? It just helps you guide that conversation without slowing you down, right? If you notice, it was really easy. I'm just clicking on some questions that I want to ask. I'm listening to what they're saying and clicking on a few keywords to be able to do that. The next thing I wanted to show you was the complete tool library. So when I go to the complete tool library, this is just everything. Like maybe you don't need the guided conversation. You already have enough data in there, but you want to do something specific. So I can go to the tool library, and that's where everything else is kind of laid out. it's sorted by burning issues. So if you have a burning issue, like it will sort and show you just the tools that you use for that. All these tools are kind of connected to the Clear Path to Cash. When you take the Clear Path to Cash course, I teach you mining your business for hidden cash, or the fast money formula. I show you how to maintain your inventory, right? So inventory is another kind of cool one, because in here, you can just take their inventory list and just paste it in, right? Here's the things I buy. Here's how much it costs. Here's who I buy it from. You just paste it in there and it creates your inventory database for you, right? And what it's going to do from there, it's going to help you understand, or not help you understand, it's going to help guide you on how you want to price it, by how much gross profit you're trying to get when you set up your goals. If I need to order, I can just do that. I can just generate an order sheet, right? Oh, there's no items in there, but I want to do something with a supplier. I can go there and all the things that I buy from that one supplier is there. I can put that in there and generate a purchase, right? A purchase order. And not quite a purchase order. I can generate an order sheet. I'd have to do this first before that. The other thing is that if I want to log purchases throughout the month, because sometimes, like in restaurants, I mean, they might have tomatoes that are priced one day, 1 week, or at one price on week 1, and by week 3 they're different prices, and prices are moving all the time. Well, logging from a receipt, I can just paste, or not, well, I can paste, but I can also just take a picture of a receipt, put it in there, and it's going to put it towards that vendor and that price and that quantity, and log the purchase and update your inventory system. The other thing I like about this is that it's connected to the pricing tool. So if I go back to here and I go to the pricing tool, and that part's really slow going back to the dashboard. Is that the internet, Jeff? Is that what's doing that? Must be.
Like that's your issue.
Right, so,
but you just lag a little bit, but then it picks up. You'll catch right up.
So I've got a pricing center, and what I like about the pricing center is it tells you, based on the changes in all the prices, which ones need your attention, right? Oh, hey, this is not only slow moving, you had too much of it, maybe we should mark it down, right? And you can go into here, you can set your markdown strategy, because it's saying, hey, listen, there's a cash opportunity. You got $1,800 too much here. Let's mark it down and try to bring in some cash. So I'm pointing you to the exact products that you need to clearance or need to mark down. This is the same type of strategy that Target uses, or Walmart, any of these folks. So it's already built in here for you. The other thing I built in is, can I do it here? No, not on Premium Widget. If you have an actual thing, not gadgets, but things like that, like this microcontroller, I can go to Market Insights and search the entire internet, and it will tell me how my current price matches up with everything that AI can find on the internet. So I click on that, search market pricing. It says, the low is 135, the high is 749, the average is 492, and I get $13. So let's not change that one, right? Because our customers are paying us $13, and they can get it other places for around 492 if they want to. So if this was slow moving, we know that we could take a price reduction to kind of speed it up, right? Because it tells you everything that's happening, and it will tell you where else they can get it, right? You can see how I went out to the internet, pulled all the prices for this product that it had, and can give you guidance on how to price your goods. So it's kind of a cool thing, right, that you can do for folks. Now, the other thing on here that I wanted to point out, back to this one. Oh, see, it went fast that time, so it must be the internet. When I have people, right? So I don't charge per person. Doesn't matter. If you have a firm of 10 people, everybody can kind of use the same thing. In the future, I'll be charging kind of a company file. And you'll get a certain amount for the basic fee. And then, if you want to go more than that, that's the only way I can make it fair for smaller companies and larger companies, is to kind of charge per client file. But here you'll be able to say, is it a firm member, somebody that, is it mine? Is it a firm member, or is it a client? And the client has a whole different experience. They don't get to see a lot of the, advisory stuff, right? That's for you. That's your cheat sheets. But what they do get to do is put in their own inventory, put in their own count sheets. They get to look at the pricing stuff They get to do the things that they need to do on a regular basis, and then you can just put that in the action log, use the pricing tool, and I want you to look at these 5 prices, or these 5 products, and determine what the right price should be, right? The other thing that we can do is I've now added this thing called relationships, right? And what relationships are, if I can get there, I can't get there now. But relationships allow you to have a parent-child. And this came about because I had folks that had locations. So they had, like, it was franchises that were using this. So, and they wanted to see things kind of together or as one, or I could connect things. So I had to be able to identify parent-child relationships. Or even there's a manufacturer I'm working with that has 3 locations. So they all want to look at the company as a whole, but they want to look at the individual locations. So I created parent-child relationships from that. So we're coming up on the end of the hour. I want to open it up for questions and kind of, see what you guys were thinking, and spend the last few minutes showing you something you maybe was hoping to see that you didn't see. Anybody?
I think one of the questions that I have is in regard to the security level of the AI feature. And I think that that's just something that's ingrained in me from the beginning of ChatGPT, et cetera, is making sure that the security levels are there because of the data that's being uploaded. And I know people say, well, you email information back and forth, and what's your comment on that piece of it, the security level of the AI features?
Yeah, I've been working on that quite a bit over the last month, right? So I've definitely built in an opt-out, like don't use any of my data for anything with AI. But we've also locked it down to where, it stays between here. And of course, unfortunately, they had a bad week, but AWS is the platform I use for service, and I put it right into my own AWS account, right? So it's if you felt comfortable with the clear path to cache, it's going into the same database as the clear path to cache. It's called Mongo database. Now with AI, I can use it to compare you and use other things that are out, or we can tie it down to just using yours, right? Just use your data. Do not allow it past your account. So you can actually contain AI to a specific account. I need more guidance from CPAs, because I'm only getting that from CPAs right now. Since I don't take bank account numbers, I don't take social security numbers, I don't take any, I purposely do avoid all of that to make it a lot easier for CPAs to use my products, right? Anything sensitive, you don't see employee names and things like that in here.
Yeah, and I think that that's all good stuff, but I think just as an overview, whenever as a CPA, we would upload a financial for a client, and it was identified as that particular client were exposing confidential data. You could argue with nonprofits, it's public data anyway because of the 990, but when it comes to the for-profit is where there's a lot of discussion around using AI models that have the level of security that, say, the AICPA backs up.
Well,
I'm still learning about it all too.
Yeah. Here's one of the things that's always kept me out of trouble. So I don't care what you call it, right? We anonymize it anyway. It's if you look, like, here's what I see it as. As soon as you type in a name, it becomes this to me.
Okay.
All right, you see that?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how we anonymize all the data. I know it's company ID this, but in the background, I or nobody else can see it. The only person that sees the public facing name is you, and you also have the ability to hide that, right?
Okay.
And I think I missed hide names.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So and I've tried to put a lot of features like that where, and this shouldn't be this. This should say client 1 or client 2. But I think I didn't change the background color of the text. It's supposed to be an overlay of, kind of wipes out the number of the name behind it.
Right, right.
But and I
Okay.
have some CPA clients right now, Nikki, that use just the client number instead of the name.
Yeah.
But you can see what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I anonymize it. It's just a random number that's assigned to that company file, because I don't want to know the names, right? That's why if I'm ever on a support call with you, I'm like going, hey, can you tell me who that is? Who so
Yeah,
I can help
yeah.
you. So that's basically what
And
I've got to do.
so is any of the data that we utilize the AI model within this used to train other AI
No,
participants?
no, and if you look at the way well, let me say that differently. Maybe, and here's what I mean by that, is that I am enriching the industry averages. So if you put in a NAICS code, I have a database, but you're giving me more data, right? I got more,
Right.
and so if you have a current ratio for NAICS code, 210110, and your debt to equity ratio is 2.5, well, that goes into the average.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Okay,
people
got it.
would want that, right? But I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not. Yeah. But I don't think it doesn't matter who that is. I just know that NAICS code 111 has this, right? And so it becomes a better part of the averages over time. To train others, all right. So AI, the way I'm using it right now, because I don't trust it for analysis as much, but I do trust it to sort data really well.
Yeah.
If you notice, I'm using it for sorting data. I'm not using it to give you advice. If you really look at the words that are used, you go, oh, that's right out of Mike's book, or that's right out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So we hard code a lot of the advice, meaning when you see this, do this, because one of the reasons I have to do that is AI can't figure out what I'm doing because there's nobody else that does it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Yeah.
even the way it does some of the calculations on valuation, or the way it does sustainable growth rates, it's a whole different calculation than the one I use. So it always tries to direct somebody to another version or what it thinks it is. Like if you ask AI right now to create the mining your business for hidden cash chart, it's going to give you the cash conversion cycle chart. It just doesn't get it. It doesn't understand what we're doing there.
Okay.
Right. So, which is the good thing, which means, I'm not tool based on the things that we understand as a community, meaning about the cash community.
Yeah.
So it can't draw from other instances.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Mike, Nancy asked the uploads to AI are just numbers. No company info is included, correct?
Yeah, it's whatever you paste in there, right? So, and again, on the dashboard, you can call them anything you want to. You can nickname them, right? It doesn't matter. I don't care, because I change it to a number. As soon as you type in, oh, dang it, I keep doing that, clicking that, and I want to click on it because it goes into the company. But whatever you type in for the company name is what is the only place you see that is here, and you'll see it when you're working on the client. Like the name of this company is ClearPath to Cash Test Company. I could easily just name it Mike's Fiddle-Hopper Company. It doesn't matter. We don't use it for anything, but so you can find it and you're working with the right company. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see it up here, and that's just it's for you. We don't care. What I see in the background is that number right there. That's in the URL is what I highlighted. To you, it's ClearPath to Cash Test Company. To me, it's 68827. And it's called anonymization of data. And that's one of the ways we protect it.
Is there anything from the first platform that's not here? That's part of my question. The second part is you created these AI models of a conversation that you were using, and I was wondering where that was at. Is it something that you've incorporated into this or will be, or is that still?
That's under the guided advisory now.
Yeah, okay.
So remember it used to look like a chat thread. And now
Right.
it looks like, yeah, now it looks like this. Did you prefer the chat thread better than this?
No,
Or no?
I like this.
Okay. Yeah, so I changed it up just because I thought it used less space. With the chat thread, I didn't like the way that it took up so much space, and some of the stuff that you wanted was down below the fold or up above the fold, and there was too
Right.
much scrolling. Yeah.
But in general, there isn't anything out of the first version that's not in this. It's just
No,
better.
actually, we've added probably 7 or 8 new features to this on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, including here. Let me go to go back out here to the tool library. This is the complete tool library, right? So Financial Doctor is Financial Doctor is in the old one. Home Run Financial Systems in the old one. This is the report generator, right? And it just kind of helps you build a report of different things. And if there's things missing here, let me know. We just kind of started with what I thought people would want, right? And different little templates of stuff. This was on spreadsheet. This was on spreadsheet.
That was.
That was on spreadsheet. That wasn't on spreadsheet, but I did a way to analyze previous bids, so you can kind of figure out win rates and things like that. The mini P&L was on a spreadsheet, right? Minding Your Business was in the old one. Fast Money was in the old one. Inventory was on a spreadsheet. This wasn't anywhere, right? It was just something I did, right? So I added that. Process optimization wasn't anywhere either. So I created that. This wasn't included. This is something new I've added called risk assessment. Start with end in mind was in the old one. Forecasting was not in the old ones. That was on spreadsheet. Simple valuation was in the old one, right? So you can see I added quite a bit to it. And this takes the 4 things that are happening in your business, right? The 4 big pillars, and it shows you where the biggest risk is in your company. So it gives you this is an AI analysis of the risk.
Right.
So anybody that's already a current member, when I make the switch, I'm trying to figure out how to move your old data over. Yeah. I can't make a promise there, because they're really 2 different things. So I don't know if I can do that or not, but I'll see if I can. But you automatically get the new version and no price increase. That includes anybody that gets in. It gets in now. Go ahead.
David was asking, do you suggest an MSP to conduct such an analysis on a company or sole proprietor?
Say that differently. What does he consider an
ahead,
MSP?
David. Go ahead, David.
So I'm just asking, like, if I'm going to do an analysis like this, what should I say? What's the suggested price I should charge my customer? For for example, last night I had a client call me and she goes, "Hey, I just got an offer to purchase my cleaning company, and is this a good offer or not?" And so, of course, your EBITDA analysis and market rate can let her know if it's okay, or you do this manually. How much should I charge her? For that, or for small companies. I work mostly with blue collar trades, and so they do need assistance to really hone in on this area. What's an average price I should charge once a year or twice a year?
What's funny is that last year I did a study on value equivalency, which is value pricing for this type of service.
Yeah.
and I have that. Let's see here. So, because it kind of differs. I sometimes I'm
Right.
even different within, based on it. So I mean, the average to me is probably around 2,000 to 4,000 a month. I know people out there do it for 1,000 a month. I've got a client right now that pays 10,000 a month. So I think it has to do with how much you want to put in. So let's see here.
So
I'm gonna give you this. Yeah, I'm gonna give you this study
Okay.
that I did last year. I'll kind of show you what that is first. Did I get rid of it? Oh, that I had it in here.
Mike, once you locate that, I've got the list of everybody that's here. If you locate that, send it to me and I'll get it out to them by email.
Yeah. Why don't I do that? I think because I wasn't using it full time, I took it out of this library and it's probably just on the file somewhere. But David, I think in the Pathfinder course, I give you a spreadsheet that helps you identify your price point, based on your cost, right? And it has more to do with that. So most people don't want to charge by the hour, but you have to establish kind of an hourly cost.
Yep.
Because you don't want to charge less than that. The hourly cost should be the floor. If you're doing value type pricing, your job is to give them the most value for the amount that they want to pay. How much is the problem worth to them?
right.
And so I just kind of fill it out. And if I go out the gate at $3,000 a month, they go, oh, $3,000 a month. I'll follow it up with, oh, well, how much did you think it should cost? and then I figure, yeah, right? So I'll do that. Well, oh, I'm sorry. How much did you thought it should cost? Well, I thought it was 2,000. Oh, I've got a $2,000 package. I just don't do this, or this, right?
Right.
And you just, and that's one of the ways I kind of test them, is how much they'll do. But I don't get a lot of people balk at 2,500. I don't know. Anybody else want to weigh in? I know there's some other people on
So
here.
so when you're saying this, you're doing the system monthly with them. So like this would be in addition to the bookkeeping process. I got my bookkeeping price, and then I have your ClearPath cash, which would be an additional.
Yeah, I've kind of moved from that, having add-ons, because people don't like add-ons.
Yeah.
So I sell the advisory first and say, oh yeah, this includes some bookkeeping stuff, because it looks like we've got some bookkeeping cleanup to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so I always lead with the advisory cash flow stuff and go, oh yeah, we do the bookkeeping too. And that's why you get the 25, or whatever your price is now, combine it and start there. But that
Right.
includes the bookkeeping. It's not extra. It includes it.
Yep. Okay.
But if you lead with bookkeeping, you just told them bookkeeping is the most important thing. If you lead with advisory, you're telling them that's the most important thing, and bookkeeping is just the thing that helps us do that.
That gets you to this point. Yeah. So you're good.
Yeah.
I
Mike,
like it.
This a common question that is a reoccurring question with all our meetings, and is when are we going to be moving to the new version?
Yeah, so it's in beta now, right? And I'm getting fewer and fewer things to fix. And so to me, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just doesn't have to crash, right? So as soon as I have like a week where it didn't crash while I'm doing something, then I'll release it. And I'm thinking in November, I'd love for it to be middle of November, but my goal is by the end of November.
Yeah, so folks, it's even, I put a note in there where you can grab the link to get signed up. I think you'll find that Mike, and Mike especially nor I are into the crowd wolf, but we want to get as many people into our program because this is an absolute game changer. And all the noise that's been in the last couple of weeks on just where we are economic. Some businesses are doing well because of the climate, some are struggling, but everything is pointing back to cash flow. And I'm really excited for knowing where Mike is coming with this new version. So make sure you take advantage of that and get signed up so we can definitely help accelerate where you're headed.
All right. Anything else? Well, live from Baton Rouge is Cashflow Mike. Thank you very much for joining me, spending an hour with me. I appreciate that. So I'm very grateful. And let's do something great here. Appreciate you.
All right. See you, Mike. Appreciate everybody.
All right.
Good luck,
See you now.
LSU.
There you go. Let's go LSU. Now, hey, you can't say that in front of Courtney. She went to A&M, so they're playing A&M. See, I didn't go to A&M so I could wear LSU gear because I taught at LSU. So I'm not going to.
There you go. You got to rep.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, good luck.
All right.
See you.
There you go. All right. Talk to y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Steve. Yeah. There you go.